Hello, my name is Lior Manor and I like to read books, and Timothy asked me to talk a little bit about things that I learned and maybe mistakes that I did in the past or things that I wanted to change only if I knew back then. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience about a big mistake that I didn't learn English and I didn't learn how to talk in a good accent. This was my biggest mistake, but I'm very happy that I didn't learn English, so I talk very funny. That's why I got booked by many companies that want to see something a little bit different than what they can book around their area. And so for any mistake, you can make it to any problem, you can make it to an advantage. Many years ago, I learned math and computer science in the Tel Aviv University, and I love math, I love science, I love logic. This is the way, by the way, why I do magic, because when I was young, I was fascinated by the riddles, the cleverness of magic. I didn't want to be a magician. I wanted to be a musician. But apparently I did a mistake, and because of my English, I became a magician and not a musician. And what I learned a lot is to entertain. And that's why I like to read Ken Weber, and it's so pity that there are only one or two books about entertainment in the magic world. From my experience, I always tell people, go and hang around with artists, with stand-up comedy guys, with film directors, with theater directors, with screenwriters. All these people can help you and make you more innovative in what you do, because they have a better way of looking at the world. Most of the time we are looking into our cards and we don't know what is happening there. And we are sure that we are doing the best magic effect of finding a red card in a blue deck exactly in between the jokers. It doesn't mean a lot for the people that are watching us. So it's you and not the cards themselves. And that's why I tell everybody, don't spend so much time with card guys, because 99% of the time they are talking about moves and new ways to do the same effect. Try to work with the company people and ask them what they want you to deliver. And this is the way you are going to find what kind of magic that you do. I've never booked to do a trade show. No VP sales or marketing asked me, do you do the ambitious card first or do you do a 4-ace revelation first? They never asked me. They always wanted me to come just because I know how to connect with people and how to deliver a message in a fun way. Some of them also told me don't use red bags, just blue decks, but this is something that I need to improve. Another very important thing that I always come back to the old books, because I find a lot of good stuff over here. Most of the new stuff is okay, but here are some big treasures, and some of them were used by big names. So what is a classic is a classic because it stands all the time that has passed. Here, it's in Hebrew, so I will tell you the life in amusement park. It's somebody that used to write, he was my writer for my first television show. I did a lot of television between 1994 and 2001, almost every week in a talk show. Almost every week I had a few years my show, and what he learned from me is that I always went to learn something from the best. If I wanted to learn something, I brought Tim Conover to Israel to help me. I brought Gary Kurtz to help me. I brought Patrick Page. I always went to learn from the top names, and I got a lot from it. On the other side, this guy told me to think big. And let's say, for an example, when we did Stopping the Pulse, I told him what kind of effect I can do on my TV show, and one of them was stopping the pulse, and he said, "Wow, that's amazing." I said, "No, it's very simple." He says, "No, but you can die if you stop your pulse." I said, "Ah, okay." And he said, "So we must bring an ambulance to the studio, the television studio." I said, "Ah, interesting." And we need to bring three physicians that we can interview them if somebody did it before, or how dangerous it is, or if it's known from the books of medicine, if somebody did it. And maybe we'll bring a nurse, but this was not original. The rest was a little bit more original. And then they hooked me to a machine that can take your pulse and everything. And then he said, "What do you do when you stop your pulse?" I said, "I can talk." He said, "No, you cannot talk. You don't have a pulse, so you have to act like you are not moving, etc., etc. And what is happening to your body?" So we did an out-of-body experience. So this guy, because he's not a magician, he was thinking differently from what I thought about how to deliver the effect, of course, based on the shoulders of David Berglas. But he took this piece and make it a huge piece of television that everybody talked about it. So I give you an advice. Always talk with people that are not from the Magic Club. Try to understand what real people are thinking about your effect, and some people that are not from our environment at all. If you do corporate magic, this is the best book. This is the best book. Nothing is better than this one. If you read this one, you have a lot of stuff to do in the corporate world, and if you understand how Bill Hurst is thinking, you can take any effect and change it to adapt it to the corporate world. Another mistake that I didn't do is I always demanded on flying business class or first class, never fly economy class. And you need to stick to one company or more, not more than two, so you become a frequent traveler. So they will always put you in the 1A all the way. And I always tell the company, I'm an entertainer, I'm important, I need to come fresh to your trade show, or if I'm an MC for a company conference, or even if I do just a 1 hour show, I fly 12 hours.